Hi, I'm Dr. Jared Gardner, and I'm here today to show you something not very rare, but kind of interesting, and something that's pretty common and probably most people will have at some point. So this is a blackhead under the microscope. Blackheads are the common layperson name for what we would call in dermatology, we would call an open comedo, or the plural of that is comedones. So open comedones are open hair follicles that are plugged with debris and material, and they get a dark brown or black kind of look to them to the naked eye on the skin surface. There's also such a thing as a closed comedone, and that's when the surface is kind of blocked, and then it gets kind of pus in it. That's like kind of what would be called a whitehead, in lay people terminology, but medically speaking, we would say that's a closed comedone. So both of those types of open and closed comedones can be seen in acne. They can also be seen sporadically, and in fact, open comedones or blackheads are often seen incidentally on people's skin, particularly in older adults. I think we see it a lot, but it can be seen in a lot of different people just incidentally. So this was not biopsied because of the open comedone. It was because there's this little cystic lesion here, which is a benign steatocystoma, a actual true sebaceous cyst, if you will. There's little tiny sebaceous glands above it, and it's got kind of little kind of jagged inner lining. So that's not the point of this video. That's a steatocystoma. I've got other videos about that if you're curious. But that's why they removed this and did this biopsy. This was from the nose, I believe. And then here we can see this is a kind of a normal sized hair follicle over here, for example. And this hair follicle is way bigger and more dilated, and the center of it is filled with material. So what is this material? It can be all sorts of different stuff. Some of it is loose, flaky keratin. In here, there's also probably some breakdown products from sebaceous glands. So sebum, the sebaceous gland secretion is probably in there. There's also bacteria in here, little tiny blue dots. It's hard to get them to show up on the image, but there in the middle, some of that is broken down sebaceous gland product. And some of these little guys right here are little tiny cocci bacteria. They're probably gram-positive cocci, like skin flora, like Staphylococcus epidermidis. Not problematic bacteria that live on all of our skin, and they just get kind of clogged up here in the middle. In this case, also these really dark cells. These are neutrophils, white blood cells. So there probably was a little bit of pus in here at some point. Basically, maybe a little bit of folliculitis got involved. Maybe some inflammation got in there because of the bacteria. And so some neutrophils got trapped in there. So it's a little mixture of everything, and all of that that stuff together gives it kind of a darker look. It can get dirt and debris kind of stuck in there as well. And so this is what the surface would look like. Oftentimes you'll find little fungal yeast in there, which are also normal skin flora, called Malassezia furfur or Pityrosporum ovale. That's the older name. That's a normal skin flora that we see inside the opening of follicles. There may be a little touch of that right here. Yeah, there's a few little yeast right there. There's a little budding yeast right there. That's as high as I can get. So that probably doesn't show up very well, but there's a few little yeast there. And again, we see those in normal skin all the time in hair follicles. This also has another bonus. There's Demodex. These are little mites, little arachnids that live on skin. They're pretty common. Usually they don't cause huge problems. They don't invade the body or cause disease throughout the body, but they can sometimes cause skin inflammatory problems like rosacea. I'm not sure that everybody who has Demodex gets rosacea. In fact, I don't think so, because Demodex are pretty common. I see them under the microscope incidentally next to basal cell carcinomas and other skin cancers and nevi and all sorts of different things that are biopsied, and I happen to see Demodex there just incidentally. But in some people that have rosacea, a lot of times rosacea is probably caused or significantly contributed to by the presence of Demodex. So in the past, I didn't realize that. I thought that only sometimes that happened, but it seems like the more modern thinking is that Demodex do play a significant role in rosacea, and so sometimes they can use anti-Demodex kind of treatments to help rosacea. I'm not a dermatologist, I'm a dermatopathologist, so I'm not an expert at treatment, but if you happen to be watching this and have rosacea, talk to your dermatologist about that. So this does disturb us. I just try to make peace with the fact that we have little things living on our skin and in our body, and some of that stuff we actually need, like the bacteria inside our GI tract. It's totally normal, and without it, you actually get really sick. Some of it is just not causing any real problem. These Demodex, what are they here for? They're here to eat the sebum, the secretion from the sebaceous glands. My understanding is that that's what they actually consume. So that's why they live right in the hair follicle opening, because the sebum, the sebaceous glands, drain into the hair follicle. That gooey stuff comes up. It's what kind of the oily stuff that makes our hair kind of oily or have a shine to it. It's normal. It's part of what keeps the hair kind of protected, I guess. And but the Demodex really like that, and so they eat it. So you can see the little legs right here. These are little legs. 1, 2, 3. There should be 4 on each side. It kind of depends on which cut, because arachnids don't have 6 legs; they have 8 legs, right? And mites are technically arachnids. These are not spiders, but they are in the same group as other arachnids. And then here's the rest of the body. And I don't know what the little blue dots are. There's all sorts of little internal organs here inside the Demodex. And sometimes this is as high as I can get. You can actually see they have little tiny ridges in their exoskeleton. I don't know if that's really showing up in the video, maybe a little bit, but they have these little grooves or ridges. Other arthropods have that too. So anyway, there's some Demodex there as just a little incidental finding. And we've got a steatocystoma and then a blackhead. So in case you were curious what a blackhead looks like under the microscope and what is that stuff inside of it that makes it look black, here you go. It's a mixture of a lot of stuff. It's much prettier microscopically than clinically. Sometimes these can get really big, and you can get like big open comedones, like particularly on the trunk, on the back. I've seen that, and they can start to kind of overlap with a cyst. Basically, the cyst here is totally unrelated, by the way. This is just happens to be right next door to a blackhead, an open comedo. Up here, oh look, there's another Demodex. See, there's lots of Demodex. This patient has one right here, coming out of this open follicle. Here's another one over there. We can just see kind of the tail end of it sticking up. So the main thing, I do report these if there are features that are suggestive of rosacea, which there might be a touch of here. There's perifollicular lymphocytes. So if you get a lot of lymphocytes around hair follicles and sebaceous glands, and I see Demodex, I sometimes will bring that up, that there's Demodex and perifollicular inflammation. It might be background rosacea, but of course that has to match the clinical information from the dermatologist. So sometimes I will bring that up if I think it might be helpful for treatment. But otherwise, when I just see it incidentally next to a cyst or a skin cancer, I don't make any big deal about it. The reason it's important to teach about for dermatopathologists or for people looking at slides is so that you don't see this and think that it's something more clinically significant, like say scabies or a tick. Ticks would be way, way bigger than this. Scabies could be about this size, but they really live up on the skin surface, and they're more round and not quite as elongated. But I've seen times where a little fragment of an Demodex could kind of mimic scabies, and that would be a much more significant clinical thing that needs treated differently. So sometimes knowing all the little findings microscopically is so that we don't confuse them with something else. In fact, that's a really good reason to learn every little thing on the slide, is because a lot of times none of that stuff matters. All that matters is the skin cancer or the whatever the main finding is. But learning that stuff on every case is how you get really good at pathology, and how when you get a hard case and you're seeing a tiny little bit of something, you're like, oh, you know what? I bet that's a little funny cut of a reactive sweat duct and not squamous cell carcinoma. Or that's a little bit of Demodex and that's not scabies. Or in the other case over here, that's a little bit of yeast, and that's a normal finding I see in hair follicles all the time, and it doesn't mean that they have a fungal infection or that they need antifungal treatment. So in case you're a beginner in derm path, this is the reason that sometimes you might notice, I'm also just a nerd and I like to learn every little detail. It makes the job more fun, I think. But sometimes it really matters for patient care. So when that's the only finding you have, being able to recognize what a given structure or substance is helpful so that you don't get it confused with something else more worrisome. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that blackhead under the microscope. In case you've wondered, now the mystery's solved. This is what they look like. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.